All right. Encounter number 2 from Kobold Hall from the Dungeon Master's Guide Adventure. And we will be on to encounter number 2 entitled The Tomb. So here we are. Looking like we got our party, made it through the first encounter pretty easily. Harbrick only had one healing surge he had to use. I don't think anybody else got touched in that last encounter. Very, very interesting, I bet, but the monsters were rolling pretty poorly. So we'll see how this one goes. This one's going to be a little bit different. In the tomb here, it looks like we got some coffins and we got some statues, and we have down at the bottom here, let's go scroll down, we still have our graveyard ready for these 3 kobold skirmishers, hopefully. And at the bottom there is an altar down there. It looks like the altar is a crudely crafted altar of the evil dragon god Tiamat with a small bag of 60 gold. Ooh, I think our adventurers would like that. Another things that are going on here in the center of the room, we do have a dart trap, an armor dart trap that's going on here. So we'll see how that all affects our adventurers and see what's going on here in the tomb. So back up to the top. Let's go ahead and see if our adventurers are going to get a surprise round this time. What we're going to do is just go ahead and use averages again against the skirmishers' passive perception of 10. So we'll start off with Mr. Andor with his big plus 10. Rolling for there. Looks like he got a 19. Then we'll go on to Harbrick with a plus 1. And these are all their stealth rolls they're going to be doing as they're coming down the hall here and entering into the tomb chamber. Number 7, not being too stealthy there. Let's try Mira. She's got a plus 2 for her stealth. Not too bad. Doing well. And then Perrin, Mr. Plus 0. Straight up D20. Oh, and he rolls a 20. Okay, so not too bad. Let's see how this rolls out. So we got a 20 for Perrin, an 18 for Mira. Harbrick is up there with a 7, and then we got a 19. Oh, yeah, 19. Let me make sure I did my math right here. 19 plus 7 plus 18 plus 20. That's going to give us 64 divided by 4 is going to give us a 16 group sort of passive stealth check is coming down here and all things. That Harbrick did make some noise here with his 7 on there, which should alert them a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that Andor, Mira, and Perrin all get to participate in the surprise round, and Mr. Harbrick doesn't get to because he did roll less than their passive. So with that being said, let's see. Let's roll some initiative and let's see how we get lined up here. Roll that initiative. Okay. Harbrick would be the first one to have done the surprise round. We'll now go to Mr. Perrin. All right, so Perrin, I think he would probably want to get out there and make sure he gets into some sort of place to where he can do some healing for everybody. And so we'll go ahead and just have him do a movement here. I don't think he would probably go too far, so what I'm going to do is I'll move him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, at this point, I'll probably have him do a perception check as he's moving out to see what he notices possibly about these dart traps. I mean, the dart traps do have their initiative spot, but they're really not doing anything with initiative. They're just their immediate interrupt attack action would go on there. But our characters, if they, Perrin comes down here, I'm sure he would be looking at the coffins down here, and then possibly over at that statue. And let's see. Let's just do a perception check for him and see if he can beat a DC 20 to notice firing mechanisms in the armor. This could help out the party pretty quick. He is not trained in perception. Nope, he is not. So he's just going to use his standard perception, which would be his wisdom, which is not too bad if I remember correctly. He gets a +3. So let's roll it and see what he gets. So he will get a 17, which is not enough to notice anything particular about the armor. And also, let's try another one to see if he can notice anything about triggered spots here. I got marked on the map here with the little number 1s, the little red circles. And that corresponds over to the piece of armor here. That's where the dart trap is shooting with. So let's roll his +3 again. Let's see if he can notice anything. Nope, he is not going to be able to see it. So at this point here, he in the surprise round, they just get to take 1 action. So that would be his move action out there and then do some perceiving. Next one would be Andor. You know what Andor's doing. He's coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But before he moves there, I'm going to have him do his perception checks to check to see if he sees any dart traps. And mostly he's going to, if he doesn't, he's going to step on there too. So let's try him. I guess he's going to go 20, checking out the armor. I'm sure Perrin would be responding back to him what he's seeing or not seeing. But let's see Andor, what he wants to do. His perception is a +6 on there. So let's first of all do the roll against the armor to notice, what did it say? To notice the firing mechanism in the armor. So let's roll Andor's there. Ooh! All right, he is going to notice there's a firing mechanism in there. Now the next thing is he's moved 1, 2, 3, 4 up to here, and he's getting ready to step onto number 5. Let's see if he can use his same perception to notice that and maybe sidestep that spot where there is a trigger stone. If not, he's going to move on to it and he's going to get attacked. So let's find out. This is going to be against the triggered spot. He notices it in the armor. Let's see what he does. Ooh, it rolled right off that 18. He is not going to notice that trigger spot as he's coming through. And so he'll move his last movement. So he started here and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's going to go up to 6 here. As he steps on that spot there, this dart trap is going to go off. I'm sure Andor's kind of, I see a trap in there. There's a dart mechanism in that armor as it shoots at him. So it is going to do a +8 versus his AC. That's pretty nasty. Let's roll it against Andor's AC of 18. And that is going to hit him. Poor Andor. Takes damage right away. So now this is an immediate interrupt. So once the criteria met for the basically a character who enters or starts his turn on the trigger step goes there. Now with it and the target is immobilized, well, guess where he's going to stop? I have to look up some rules on that. But let's do the damage of the 1d6 +2 to Andor. Takes 4 damage onto Andor, so let's mark that off here. Starts off getting hit, and then I think he's actually even immobilized. Down to 26, and that's dart trap number 1. And the target is immobilized until the end of the target's next turn. So that means when you have an effect that immobilizes him, let me look that one up. I want to see if that actually means he stops his movement. I think it does. Let's go and take a look at here. It's going to be a condition of immobilized. An immobilized creature can't reposition itself on the battle grid. It can stand up from prone. All right. Well, the creature can't move unless it teleports. So, I think because it set off the trap there, that's where he got hit. He becomes immobilized right there. The creature can't move unless it teleports or is pulled, pushed, or slid. So poor Andor is going to start his turn on this trap again and probably get shot. We'll see what happens. With that, he did take his surprise round. He did take 4 damage. He is down to 26 of 30. Let's move on from there. Next one in the surprise round will be Mira. And let's have her, I think we'll spread her out. She'll just get a move action to come in here. I don't want them to run because then they would be granting, I think it's combat advantage when you do run. Let me just check that. Yeah, it's a move action. You take a -5 penalty to attack rolls, and as soon as the creature begins running, it's granting combat advantage until the end of its next turn. Okay. Going back to Andor, he is immobilized, and from the dart trap, it said he is immobilized until the end of the target's next turn. So he cannot move. Oh my goodness. Until the end of his next turn. Ooh, that's not going to be good. Possibly. We'll see. I mean, he knows that trap's there. But there's some things he can do for it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a condition on here. Immobilized. And end of the target's next turn. So it was the dart trap number 1, and the target is going to be Andor. So he is immobilized. We'll go ahead and put that on here too. Until... Okay, got it on there. All right. So back to, he's now mobilized from the dart until the end of the target's next turn, round 1. All right, Mira's up next. Let's get her moved in. She'll move her 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's going to hang out over there next to Mr. Perrin. And that will be her surprise round. And then I think we're done. We'll go back up to the top order here. The targets move in. I'm sure the skirmishers will be like heckling now because they saw the dart trap go off on Andor, a little halfling there. Oh, by the way, too, yes, it says on there the coffins do provide cover. So down to the bottom here, we are going to be going to skirmisher number 2. What I think I'm going to have him do on his turn is move up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to know where that dart trap is. I think he'll go there, and then he is going to ready an action. He's going to ready a spear attack if anybody comes into the into melee with him. Let's see what happens. So I'll put on here. Readied spear. And we'll put it in here because basically that gets done with this turn. But he moves there, and we'll go on to the next turn, which will be Harbrek. Go back down to Harbrek here. Yeah, he's going to come on in. As he's moving in here, I think I might have him double move. They'll probably notice that there is, Andor will have to let him know, hey, we got some traps here, but the dwarf is kind of like just trying to get in there to get into combat with these skirmishers. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point, I'll have him do his perception checks to see now what he can actually see in this scenario with these traps going off. Obviously, he knows there's a dart trap there, so we're not going to have him do the check on number 1 for noticing the mechanism, because I'm sure he's going to believe Andor. But let's have Harbrek do his perception. which is straight wisdom. He's got a +2 against that one right in front of him, because I think I'm going to have him at that point probably move again to get up into melee with number 2. But he might cross 2 zones there if he... We'll see what happens. He's got a wisdom of +2, and he is not trained in perception, so best of luck. That is a 1. That's not a critical fail. That just tells me that, no, he's not paying attention. So he's going to do his first movement 1. Trap 1 will go off as he steps on the stone. And let's go ahead and make a +8 versus his AC. See if Mr. Harbreck is immobilized. Oh, did he get him? Harbreck's AC is a 19 that just hit him. Oh my goodness. 1d6 +2 on Harbreck. And that will be 5 damage on Harbreck from the trap. Oh. I'm sure Andor would be saying something like, "I told you so! There's traps around here!" And so they have identified two of the trigger spots there, but they don't know what the other ones are. They've only identified the ones they've stepped on. Okay, Mr. is immobilized too. And we better put that on him. He is also, let's go to make sure we get the right person. Yep. He is immobilized. And that is going to be end of target's next turn. This is going to be from trap 1 to Harbreck. Oh, 2 people down. So he began his second movement and then got stung by the dart trap to immobilize him. He's stuck. I'm sure these skirmishers are now all chuckling to themselves, you know, stupid humanoids, and enjoying that their traps are going off. Okay, with that, his second move action is stopped because of the immediate interruption and the immobilization where he cannot move anymore. So we'll go ahead and he still does have a minor. Harbreck does have a minor. He could use his second wind, but I mean, he took 5 damage. He is still down to 32 of 37. I think he's okay. We can move on from there. And we'll just go ahead and end his turn. I don't think there's anything Perrin can do. Triggered actions. That wasn't a critical hit on the dart trap. Immediate reaction. You hit an enemy with attack made with this holy symbol. Nope. I don't have any more interrupts besides that. Enemy, his armor of Bahamut, which the enemy scores a critical hit against you and or an ally within 5 squares. They are within 5 squares, but we'll see what Perrin can do on his turn. All right, so that will end Harbreck's turn. Nothing else he can pretty much do. I guess he has to make an attack when he marks somebody. Yeah, whenever it forces you to move. Nope. Every time you attack an enemy, whether the attack hits or misses, you can choose to mark that target. Okay, so he has to attack somebody to mark him. So he can't just point him and say, "Yep, I'm marking you." So we'll leave it at that. At this point, we'll go ahead and move on. Skirmisher number 1. I think they're kind of enjoying this. Maybe they'll, try to get these, them to come down and land in between on trap number 2. So I'm going to have number 1 come up here, and he will do the same thing where he sees his buddy readying in action. He's going to ready in action too. Ready his spear attack. Move up a little bit right there in front of the trap spot where he knows. And then we'll move on from there. Next one is Perrin. I don't think he's really going to need to be doing any sort of healing at this point. But what I will have him do is I'm going to have him move up his speed of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have him move 4. Get right there. Get some cover from the coffin. But then I think we'll have him shoot out let's have him do his Lance of Faith. And then maybe he can have, Harbrick get a +2. But he's going to be immobilized. Gosh, I wish there was something he could do to, like, shift somebody. Because they're going to get hit again with those darts. And if they get hit by it, they're immobilized again. So, let's see what he can do. Maybe. Let's see here. Spend a healing surge. Target is slowed. Nope, I don't see anything that can move anybody. All right, let's leave it at that. Lance of Faith coming at him. Let's have him shoot at number 1. Let's have him shoot his Lance of Faith at number 1. +5 versus reflex. Oh man, that is a bad shot. Maybe I'm gonna roll bad for the heroes this round. That is definitely a miss. The reflex of the skirmishers are at 14, and that is a miss. Failure. And one ally you can see gets a +2 bonus to his attack roll. Nope, didn't work. All right, moving on from Perrin. He does have a minor action. He could Healing Word, but I think we'll need to wait on that to see what happens with these darts. So now we'll go to Andor. All right, dart trap number 1. A character enters or starts its turn on the triggered action. The dart trap goes off again. +8 against Andor. Is he going to be stuck? Let's find out. Miss. Ooh, 18 is enough just to hit. Oh my goodness. Another 1d6 +2. Here we go. Roll low. Oh. Second trap goes off. 6 more damage on Andor. Now he's starting to hurt. He's down to 20. He's lost 10 hit points so far. Perrin, is there anything you can do? And he's got a holy healer's power. An enemy, an ally within 5 squares, you can spend a healing surge and regain +8 hit points. Wow. It's a daily, though. I don't want to bring that one out yet. That's his triggered ones. Nope. +1 bonus to the next attack roll or saving throw. So, problem being is Mr. Andor is now immobilized again. And we're going to have to put that one back on. See if I can just keep it on there. Change. And save it again. Will it go away? I don't know. I'll have to find out. All right. Poor Andor twice is stuck on this stinking trap. And he's gotten hit twice by it. But he's stuck on it. So he's going to end his turn there. Again, he still does have this was the start of his turn. He can't move, but there's something he can do. He can shift up to his speed. That may be our answer right there, because he hasn't used any actions yet. He's immobilized, but the creature can't move unless it teleports or is pulled, pushed, or slid. I guess the shift? Maybe that doesn't work. else could he do here? See, he could have done a death strike. No, because he's got to move. He requires a move action, but when you're immobilized, I don't think you can use a move action. An immobilized creature can't reposition itself on the battle grid, but it's not paralyzed. It can stand up when it's prone, pull an item from a backpack, or attack normally. It might have taken a serious but temporary injury to legs, or it could be struck to the ground by a huge cobweb. Okay, yeah, so such as a bite. Yeah, he's stuck. He is literally stuck there. And so is Harbrek. They're kind of at the whims of this trap stopping, unless he's got something he can do to get himself out of there. Maybe he can position strike. He can make a strike against the coffin, and you can slide the target 3 squares. You can't slide the coffin; it's stuck on the ground. Yeah, I don't know of anything I can have him do. Does he have anything against traps? I didn't look at that one. Opportunity attacks at the start of each encounter. You have combat. Okay, extra sneak attack damage when you're using the halfling second chance power. -2 penalty attack rolls. Okay. Minor actions. The enemy moves into an adjacent square. Push that one. Oh yeah, could come in nice. I was hoping that the move action would do it. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, he could use his standard action, and he could do a ranged attack with one of his daggers. It's got to be ranged within 5, so the closest one, let's see here, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be number 2. That is the best he can do. Might as well start softening him up a little bit. He does. I mean, he can use his other stuff, like his Death Strike. Does that let him slide or anything ranged wise? Nope. He's got his daily, but I mean, he can do a Death Strike to kind of do a little bit more damage. It doesn't let him open it. Before the attack, you can move up to 2 squares. Well, he can't because he is stuck. He is immobilized until the end of the target's next turn. So it's kind of like a temporary paralysis. Maybe the daggers or the darts are hitting him in the leg and it just temporarily does that. But, oh my goodness, a start. But wait a second here. This second dart hit him, and at the end of his until the target's next turn. So he is going to be unimmobilized at the end of his turn here. Because at the start of the turn, he got immobilized again, but until the target's next turn, since it's his turn now, he will no longer be immobilized, but then he starts out, he's got a dart trap's going to go off, he's got to block it somehow. So what I think I'm going to have him do is I will take off this immobilized since he'll be done. I'm going to have him forego that immobilization. Forego his attack at the moment, because what I want him to do with his standard action is go total defense. So he's going to get a +2 to all his defenses to hopefully not get hit anymore. So I'll put on here +2 all def. So he's in total defense there. And that way he can just try to get that +2 to make that trap miss so that he can get off that frickin' triggered spot. I would be thinking he would be moving a lot slower differently that way. So that is going to cost the standard action. He doesn't have his move action he can use, and he's got a minor, but he doesn't really have anything else he can do with his minor here. I guess he could have used his second chance. The attacker must reroll the attack and use the second chance. If it's lower, the attacker takes a -2 to the attack roll. I mean, he could use that immediate interrupt here, but I don't think I'm going to do that at this point. I think I'm just going to have him go his total defense go there, and he's going to stay that way. Okay. Cobalt Slinger number 3. You know what he's going to do? He's moving up here. And I think, you know, our team would be kind of possibly recognizing that these guys are moving to a certain spot and then stopping. They're not like getting back behind the coffins for cover and stuff. So let's see what happens. He's going to hold his there, and then dart traps, not really initiative. Mira, let's have her. I'm going to have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get up to here. And then she is going to, she's going to try to get number 2 and number 3 into something here. She has her Scorching Burst, an area burst 1 within 10 squares each creature in the burst. That's what she's going to do. Let's bring that prop out. This is going to be fire damage, so let's bring it on out. Make it to size here. And she's going to drop it just like right there. I think she'll drop her Scorching Burst right there, and let's see if she can do some damage to it. Ooh, also got to keep in mind, if she hits 2 creatures, she has her Destructive Wizardry, hit 2 or more creatures, plus 2 bonus to that power's damage rolls. So let's give it a shot. Let's go against number 2 first. Scorching Burst of +6 versus Reflex. Oh yes, that's going to be a hit. Number 2 gets hit. Let's roll the same thing again. +6 versus number 3. Oh, rolled right off that 20, but 16 is still enough to hit. All right. So the Scorching Burst, she's going to get the 1d6 +5, and then the additional +2 bonus to that power's roll. So we're going to be doing a 1d6 +7 damage to each creature, each skirmisher here. +7. Come on. Oh, max damage. Nice. Nice, Mira. She's just lucky she didn't step on any things there. So skirmisher number 2 is going to take 13 damage. Boom. And 13 damage on number 2 brings him down to 14, and 13 damage on number 3. Down to 14. Both of them taking a good hit from Mira from that Scorching Burst. Nothing really else can happen on that. She does have a move. She's got her move done. She did her standard. No minor actions. I guess she could have, if she misses, she could use her heroic effort. An enemy moves adjacent, which is in a counter power. You are hit by an attack. She hasn't been hit by an attack. All right, so let's go ahead and put that zone away for a Scorching Burst. Maybe we'll bring it out again for next round. But at that moment, I think we'll just go ahead and leave Mira right there. Nothing else she can do. And move on to skirmisher number 2. Gosh, at that point, he knows those the triggers are right there in front of him. He is not going to move his position. I think he's just going to wait for them to come to him. You know what? I'm going to have Andor make a free perception check to see if he can locate another trigger spot. I'll have him do it on the beginning of his turn, so we'll do that, and then I'll have Harbrick do the same thing. So Harbrick, he comes to I guess the mobilization would be off, but the trap goes off because he's on there. So I'm going to remove this off here. And let's see if this trap hits him. He doesn't have total defense, but see if it's going to attack him. It will attack him again because he is starting his turn on the trigger spot. So +8 versus AC. Let's roll that. Come on, big miss. Oh, that's going to hit him. Here we go again. 1d6 +2. And so let's roll that damage. And that is going to be 6 damage onto Harbrek. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we're going to have him do the same thing. He'll get to the end of his turn and his immobilization will go off. But before that point, he does have... I don't think we're going to have him make any sort of ranged attack. I think we're going to have him do total defense also. So he'll use his standard. I'll take the mobilization off because we're going to basically do the same thing that Andor is doing. But then what I'm going to have Harbrek do is I'm going to have him perceive and see if he can see where another trigger trap would be. He's got to roll it better than a 25 with a +2. So he can't do it. He cannot locate it. He doesn't have enough. Not even if he rolls a critical, because that's not the way it works with skill checks. So he cannot discern where any of these other traps are, the number 2s. He knows he's on one there. He knows Andor's on the other one. They don't know about the other number 1 over there in the corner, but they kind of passed that already. Let's see what happens. Next round. Skirmisher number 1. At this point, I think he's gonna get out from under there. Seeing his people get hit, he's got to get up there and fight. So he's gonna go 1, 2, 3, and he is going to attack Perrin with a spear attack. Yeah, he's going to do that. Let's go ahead and have him do his spear attack, a +6 to get against AC, Perrin's AC being 17. That is not going to be enough. That's a 12. All right. Yeah, the kobolds have trap sense, so they get a +2 bonus to all traps. But he moved out and around that. So, that being said, can Perrin perceive? He's got a +3, but he cannot see the 25. Maybe I'm going to give Perrin a +2. I mean, he's got to roll a 20 to notice that number 2 down there where the skirmisher number 1 left, he kind of moved out and around, so he's kind of thinking that that's another spot there, but he's not sure. He wants to look and see, so I'm going to give him a +5 to this. He's got to roll a 20. He's got to roll a 20, and that's not a 20, so he's not quite sure exactly where it's at. Skirmisher number 1 missed. He does have a minor action. I think I'm going to have him shift right here. He's shifty. He's got a minor action of shifty. He can shift 1 square because he wants to stay in melee with that healer. All right. And we'll move on from there. Next turn is Perrin. Gosh, is there something he could do to give more defenses to everybody? That would be nice. Attack rolls. Power bonuses. Knack for success. Choose one of the following. Target shifts up to 2 squares as a free action, but a shift is it's not a push or a pull, so that won't help an immobilized creature. Attack rolls. Next skill check. Yeah, that's not looking good. see anything he can do to help bolster AC for our guys here. So, I don't think we really need to do any healing strikes right now because I can't really, you know, I don't really want them to spend a healing surge yet. I mean, probably next round. So maybe I'll position him to do that. So we want him to shift back. I think, because when's Mira? Number 3. They're holding their ground, but, you know, maybe they'll jump out around. I don't know. I have Perrin go here. Have him shift back 1. And then I'll have him... what to do. I guess he could grasping shards on number 2 and number 3. I don't want him to use a daily yet. Encounters, healing words, knack of success. Yeah, and he's got bless now. Gosh, decisions. Let's do healing and word. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go ahead and have him do close burst 5, healing's mercy. Nope. I'm just gonna have him do a sacred flame. Now I'll have him do a lance of faith. And then maybe he can give Mira the +2 bonus to attack rolls against the target. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if he hits first of all. +5 versus reflex against the skirmisher number 1. He needs to hit a 14 or better. There we go. Okay, Lance of Faith, 1d8 +4. Nice. 9 damage on number 1. Finally hit that guy. Maybe he's thinking, coming back from his little trigger spot there. He's down to 18, and Perrin with that too is Lance of Faith. And one ally you can see gains a +2 bonus to his or next attack roll against that target. So I think I'm going to give the +2 is going to go to Harbrick in hopes that he can get off that trap. Okay, +2 versus attack versus skirmisher 1. There we go. All right, let's leave that one on there. Nicely done, Perrin. And minor actions, we don't want him to use anything yet. Holy Healer's Power. Nope, we're good. We're going to have him leave from there. Next term will be Andor. Okay, here we go. Start of his turn. +2 to his defenses. So now his AC is a 20. Andor's got a 20 on there. And this dart trap number 1 is going to attack again with a +8. Oh, that stinking trap. Oh, is it a 1? It's a 7. He made it. He finally made it. Oh, it looked like it rolled off of that 1. Yes, that's good. That is good for Andor. So with this AC of 20, he's able to get off there. He's no longer immobilized. We're going to have him take some actions now. Oh, geez, he's got other traps up there too. Okay, now let's check. With his perception of 6, he could possibly see where there's other triggered spots. I'm not going to have him really worried. He knows where the armors are going to be shooting him. But let's see if he can recognize where a spot is, like in front of 2 or in front of 3. Come on, big roll. Yes! That's a 25, exactly what he needs. All right, I am going to pull this off here because he's no longer there. He no longer is total defense. Let's say he notices that there is the trigger spot there in front of number 3. That's where he's standing. He kind of gets the whole idea that that's going to be a trigger spot. Well, he is going to go ahead and rush on in and strike this guy down. He's going to try to, at least. Let's have him... Oh, he knows where it's at. Wouldn't that be awesome if he trigger striked? He's going to position strike him. So that is a melee. So what I'm going to have him do is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to get there, and he's going to position strike on number 3, knowing that trigger spot in front of number 3 and to Andor's side is a trigger spot. So let's position strike. Hopefully this hits. Plus 10 versus will, and the skirmisher's will is the low. It's almost the lowest. It's still a 13. Let's see what he does. Plus 10 on that positioning strike. It is in a counter power, so let me click that one off. That one is used, and let's roll it. Big roll. Come on. Yes. Big hit. 28. That's definitely enough to hit. All right, 1d4 plus 8 damage. I don't think there's anything else he needs to do on that. He doesn't have combat advantage, but he could very soon. Let's see what happens. Oh, minimum damage. 9 damage on number 3. Let's click that one off. He's next. 9 damage. He is bloodied with 5 hit points left. And on top of that, positioning strike. You can slide the target 3 squares. Guess where we're going to send him? 1. And then with that one there, he's sliding it. So he's just going to slide him the 1 and leave him there. You can slide the target 3 squares. You don't have to slide him the whole way if you don't want to. He wants to slide him right there. Let him know what that feels like. Oh, we did forget one thing too. He's got a ready to action. Okay, before all that happens, we got to make his action go off. He did have a ready to action there too, so he's got to get a poke in at Andor. Plus 6, so we're going to retcon this just a little bit. When Andor comes into melee, that is going to be a hit of the 23. He's going to do his 1d8 damage onto Andor. So Andor will take 5 damage as he is also getting up there to do that. And then we'll get back to the slide. Andor is now bloodied too. He's going to slide him there with his positioning strike. And then that trap is going to go off. Trap number 2 is a plus 8 versus AC. Come on, big hit. Let's use their traps against him. That's 18. That is a hit. Nice. 1d6 plus 2. This could kill him. 2. Is it enough? Oh, just 1. 1 left. 4 damage on poor number 3 there. So he takes 4 damage. He's down to 1 hit point. Oh boy. Andor's bloodied. Skirmisher's bloodied. Oh, and it's going to be his turn next, and he's going to start it. If he gets hit, it's going to be done. Andor does have a minor action. Both minors are dailies. He already used his move. I guess he could have used his triggered action, his second chance, and made him re-roll that, but I think we're okay there because Perrin could get over there and get some healing going on him. Possibly. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm pretty sure that skirmisher number 3 is going to be the first one heading to our graveyard here. Let me scooch the map down a little bit so we can see our graveyard, because I don't think our heroes are going to be heading back up. But let's see what happens. You never know. All right. So Andor doesn't have anything else that happens. I don't know if there's anything that Perrin can do. He's hit by... He's got his channel divinities, but his immediate free action, gain a +1 bonus to your next attack roll. Saving no. Immediate reaction, you are hit by an enemy. Nope. So an enemy scores a critical hit against you or an ally within 5 squares. The critical hit becomes normal. Nope. There's nothing he can do. Let's go ahead and leave Andor right there. He does have his move, I guess, where he can shift, but he's not going to do that. Let's go ahead and leave him right there. Nothing really else to do with his minor, and we are on to the skirmisher number 3, who is now, he was immobilized, but he got to he actually still is immobilized here at this point. And he is immobilized. I'll just take it off because he's probably going to die. He's immobilized at this point, and he starts his turn here. Not till the end of his next turn is where he can't move. So let's go ahead and do the trap. Number 2 is going to attack his own trap, attacks him again. Oh, is that enough? 16 against AC. It is just barely enough. Woo! And that's going to do the 1d6 plus 2, which is definitely going to do him in. 5 plus 2, 7 damage. Our first casualty of the encounter goes to the skirmisher. And he is to the graveyard. Goodbye. And he's out there. Oh, I got the graveyard all messed up. I don't think that's going to work right. Oops. I can't make it work. Anyway, he's down in there in the graveyard. We'll just stick him down there with the graveyard people. I like it when he sits in the little spot, but yeah, it didn't really work this time. I don't know why. Anyway, that's it for him. Trap doesn't go off in number 1. No one is on a triggered spot except for Harbrick, but it won't go off until his turn. Mira, she is up next. You know what? I think she probably wants to get away from number 1 there. Doesn't want to get into melee with him. He's not the hardest, though. We're going to have her come 1, 2, 3, 4. No triggered spots there. And she is going to magic missile back at number 1, skirmisher number 1, doing 6, 7, 8, 9 damage onto number 1. Just make it nice and simple. 9 damage. He is bloodied. He's got 9 health left. Nice shot, Mira. She does have a minor. Nothing else really to do. She's got her cantrips, but yeah, we don't really need to do anything like that for that. She's got her triggered actions as free actions. Immediate reaction. An enemy moves adjacent to you. Nope. Immediate interrupt. You are hit by an attack. She has not been hit by attack. They're just ignoring poor Mira, which I'm sure she doesn't mind. We'll leave her there. Skirmisher number 2. Gosh, maybe he needs to get away. He just saw his buddy get slid right into their own traps, but he wants to go get somebody, so maybe I'm going to have him come over and try to hit Andor, since Andor is bloodied here. So he's going to lose his readied action of his spear anyway, because it comes to the end of his turn. Let's have him go. Number 2's got a speed of 6. 1, 2, and then he's going to poke Andor with his spear. Hopefully it's just a little poke. +6 versus AC. And that is a miss. Maybe he's a little bit scared. He just off a little bit, watching his buddy just get slammed and then thrown into the trap, and then the trap immediately kills him, so he's not quite sure what's going on, and he half-heartedly does a spear attack against Andor, and missing. Andor's prepared for it. And Harbrek, number 2. All right. He's got, sorry, not number 2, but he's got a +2 versus that trap. Okay. Come on, let's roll low. +8. And Harbrek's AC now is at 21. Oh, is that enough to hit? He still hits him. Oh my gosh. That trap is just going off way too much. 1d6 +2. And he's immobilized again with another 4 damage on Harbrek. Oh man, that trap is just softening them up, stealing their hit points there. Basically that the +2, the attack +2 versus the skirmisher number 1 will go away. We're gonna have him sit on the trap. He can't. There's nothing else Harbrek can do. I mean, he's not hurt enough to second wind. We'll probably wait for something from Perrin to do that. Skirmisher number 1's going next. I mean, he doesn't have his ready to attack anymore. I should take that off. He actually went in and attacked. But he's bloodied now. That's 2 times. Harbrek's been hit 3 times now. So I'm going to keep him total defenses too, just in case number 1 comes at him. Which number 1 is up next. But I think he would be more focused on Mira and Perrin at the moment. So I think he'll minor action. Actually, he'll probably move forward, attack Perrin with his spear again. +5. Because he can't really get around Perrin that way to get to Harbrek. He'll take an opportunity attack. So he's just going to move forward, and he's going to attack with the +6 versus AC on Perrin. Let's see what happens. And he misses again. Oh, maybe they're just rattled by seeing their buddy getting killed so handedly. But with that there, I think what I'll have him do is he'll use his minor action again, and he's going to shift there. So now he's got a chance to, but then he'll be possibly, getting in combat advantage from Harbrek, who could attack him at that point if he could get off that stinking trap. Let's see, what would be the best thing to do? He knows he's going to get hit hard by Mira coming up the next round. So maybe he's going to shift back here to keep some cover from Mira, but I think she can still see him from there. A shift's not going to help. He climb up on the coffin? Nope. Let's just have him shift up there. I mean, he's dead anyway from Mira. If he's around by the time that happens, he's dead anyway. He could shift back, but I think he wants to stay in melee with Perrin to try to keep him off of casting and stuff like that. Well, let's leave it from there. And moving on. Oh, I did forget one thing. These kobolds do have +2 versus AC against the traps, but the trap did hit him hit number 3 pretty hard, so yeah, it's not going to make a difference. All right, Perrin's up next. He's going to shift back 1. Or maybe he'll stay right there, and then he can healing strike. And then if he hits, you mark the target until the end of your next turn. In addition, you and 1 ally can spend a healing surge. That's what I think we want him to do. We need to get him to do some healing, and then he could throw some okay, let's have him healing strike first. Let's have him do that. He didn't move anywhere, so healing strike onto skirmisher number 1 with a +5 versus AC. That's going to be 20. That's going to be a hit. Yes. Good job, Perrin. Healing Strike's going to do 2d8 plus 2. Woo. And that's going to be enough to do him in. 11 damage on number 1. Big hit. Well, not big hit, but you know what I mean. And number 1 joins his buddy in the graveyard. With that, too, with that Healing Strike, that was an encounter power, by the way. Let's pull that one off. With that Healing Strike, he marks the target is dead. In addition to that, you or one ally within 5 squares, you can spend a healing surge. That would be Andor. Andor is going to spend a healing surge, and he will regain, where'd it go, 7 hit points. He will heal for 7 hit points. He's no longer bloodied. Let's go back to Perrin. Okay. And with his healer's lore, +3 to that hit points regained. Andor, how would you like 3 more back? He's up to 25. Looking pretty good for the party right now. I mean, those traps kind of did a number on Harbrek and Andor. Let's see what happens. Perrin's got a minor left. Harbrek's down to 22 of 37. He's got a surge of 9. You know, I think I'm going to have him use one of his healing words onto Harbrek at this point as his minor. So, close burst 5, you or one ally in the burst, the target can spend a healing surge and regain an additional plus 1d6 hit points. Healer's Aura also gives him 3 extra, plus 3 extra the hit points regained. All right, so let's roll it. 1d6 plus 3. Big roll, big roll. There you go, max damage, max healing, not damage. So 9 plus Harbrek's healing surge of 9 is going to be 18 hit points. That's beautiful. Not 108. 18. Healing brings him back up to full, but he loses another healing surge. Nice round, Perrin. Dispatched the skirmisher, healed Andor, no longer bloodied, and also he healed Harbrek, still stuck on the trap, immobilized on the trap. With his +2 at all defenses. Well, I guess he's not immobilized right now. He could move, but there's nothing to help him move. I guess if something would give him an action to move, it would work. But all right, Perrin's done. Andor's up next. What can he do? I don't want him to use his daily yet. To where he could get combat advantage to try to finish that guy off. He already used his positioning strike beautifully. What else can he do? I guess he could do his death strike to where he could move 2 squares before the attack, but it's not a shift. It doesn't really help him. He could do his move action, his shift up to his speed to where he could get into position against. I don't know. It would be really cool if you could bull rush him, push him into that square. But the skirmisher is going to get another chance. Oh, but you know what? They're probably gonna. Mira's gonna. She's got an auto 9, so he's only got 14 left. So if he can just do some damage onto him, let's have him do his sly flourish, just +10 versus AC. At this point, see what happens first, and then he could do other things if he needs to. +10. Yeah, that's a hit. And his Sly Flourish does 1d4 plus 8. Let's see what we got here. Nice. 11 damage. Soften him up. 11 damage. He's bloodied, down to 3. Andor. Now, I think what he'll do his move action. He'll do his encounter power tumble. Basically, we're going to use that. He's going to move up. He's going to shift up to his speed. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have him shift there. Because for some, well, it doesn't matter. Mira's going to hit him there. I'll just have him shift up over to here. Stay there. Kind of stay in combat. Number 2, kind of be focused on him. It doesn't really matter because Mira's next, and she is going to focus that magic missile on number 2, and he's going to take auto 9 and sends him to the graveyard. Join your buddies. Boom. And we are out of the encounter. After 3 rounds. Didn't even make it through 3 rounds. Mira took no damage. She still got all her healing surges. She's not been hit once. Perrin hasn't been hit once either. He's 31-31. Only Andor and Harbrick. Andor's full. So I think what I'll probably do at this point is have Perrin use his last healing word. I mean, we're out of combat here now. I guess, you know, at this point they could stop and they can identify pretty easily out of combat where the trigger plates are, and then they will make sure that they don't. Perrin could come over and pull poor Harbrick off the one there with his immobilization. You know, I don't know if I want to play that out. Maybe I do. Nah, I don't want to. Let's have Perrin use his healing word number 2. We'll have him use it on Andor to bring him up to full. So that will be, it's going to be his 1d6 plus 3 plus Andor's. So 5 plus Andor's 7 is going to be 12. That will bring him back up to full. So yay. And he's going to lose another healing surge. Because the Perrin's healing word allows him to use a surge, and then he gains. Okay, I think that's at the point. I'm going to go ahead and remove the traps from there because, yeah, they're pretty much. They don't. I mean, I get. They did have hit points, didn't they? They could have destroyed. They could have attacked the statues if they really wanted to. I think that would have been more a waste of time for anything. So with that, Mira's done. We're back up to the top of the order, and we are out of combat, and the adventurers are successful once again into the tomb, which is encounter number 2 of Kobold Hall. Let's do a recap on our guys here. I guess I could click it and say end encounter. And all the monsters, oh, they're still there. Huh, really? Oh, remove all monsters. There we go. And we're back up to the top. We have Andor, full hit points, but he had to use 2 healing surges this encounter. So he's down to 5 of 7 on his healing surges. You know, this traps was a little bit tough on him. Harbrick also got stuck on the trap. He had to get Perrin to pull him off. He is also full hit points with 10 of his 12 10 of his 12 surges left. Mira, max. Perrin, max. Nothing really else going on there. Not too bad. They did pretty well. With that, we'll go ahead and end the session here. Hope you had fun. I know I did. That's why I do these solo dungeon delves, because it's kind of fun just to kind of play through these things, just the combat encounters, and see what happens. With that, till next time, thanks.